Avon, you might be surprised to hear, was among the most popular, recognizable, and respected brands in the United States. It was considered the country's largest cosmetics brand and was pioneering with its door-to-door direct sales method that was promoted with one of television's earliest taglines.
Avon calling.
Yeah, I mean, those commercials ran for over a decade and everybody was familiar with them. But maybe more importantly, Avon was practically seen as a symbol of female empowerment. Historically, the sales representatives have been almost exclusively women, commonly referred to as Avon ladies. It goes all the way back to the 1800s, well before women had joined the workforce in a big way. It was decades before women had the right to vote in the United States, so Avon was like one of the main ways for women to earn money. But obviously, things have changed quite a bit over the past 130 plus years. For many years now, Avon has struggled with declining sales, higher debt, multiple lawsuits, and overall losing that magic that the brand once held. I'm going to talk about all of it as I outline what I believe to be 7 of the biggest reasons behind the decline of Avon. I'm going to start off with what I think might be the most obvious reason. I've already touched on it a little, and that is women working. See, Avon was started by David McConnell. He would sell books door to door, and a common sales technique, especially back then, was to offer a gift to people in exchange for having them hear your sales pitch. Well, considering this was during the 1800s, most of the people answering the door were in fact women. They would be maintaining the household during the day while their husbands were out at work. He found that one of the most attractive gifts that he can offer in exchange for their time was a small bottle of perfume. In fact, the customers started showing far more interest in that perfume over the books. So at that point, the logical step was to abandon the books and transition into perfume sales. And another logical step was to recruit housewives to sell that perfume. They better related to the potential clients and were available. So by the 1900s, there were almost 100,000 Avon ladies going door to door selling Avon products. Actually, the Avon name was not used in the beginning. It was called the California Perfume Company, I believe because California was seen as a trendy and exciting place. Throughout the early 1900s, the company was expanding beyond perfume into face powders and lipsticks and all sorts of related products. Avon was the name of their most popular cosmetics line, so in 1939, they made that the name of the company. And if you're wondering, that name comes from Stratford-upon-Avon in the UK, famous for being the home of William Shakespeare. Following World War II, things were taken to a new level when there were more people starting families than ever before, meaning there were more housewives to sell Avon products and to buy Avon products. Those famous commercials helped propel it even further, and by the 1970s, Avon was one of the best performing companies in the country. Forbes ranked it as the most consistently profitable company in the US, and for the first time, they reached $1 billion in sales. However, according to the Population Reference Bureau, the percentage of women in the workforce increased significantly over the following decades. And I think that's pretty widely understood, right? So the cultural shift, combined with economic factors in the 1970s, marked the first time where there was major doubt concerning the future of Avon. Like I said, this is kind of an obvious reason. The company was created and built around the fact that most women did not have jobs, and that was clearly changed over the years. There was a time when selling Avon was widely considered to be among the most attractive ways for women to earn money, and that is just no longer the case. From there, I think they must have felt the pressure to reduce the reliance on cosmetics in their existing system, and the changes that they made did not go very well. My next reason behind the decline of Avon is diversifying. Going into the 1980s, Avon's big plan was to enter new industries by making these multi-million-dollar acquisitions. And with almost every one of them, it went poorly. Just a few examples would be Tiffany & Company, the jewelry brand. They spent over $100 million buying it in 1979, struggled to keep up with the competitors for the next 5 years, and then sold it. They went on to buy a chemical company for $750 million, and then sold it at a loss only a few years later. And then it was a similar situation with a healthcare company and a couple of nursing home companies, all of them bought and sold within a few years, leaving Avon with over $1 billion in debt by the 1990s. In 1997, they bought a toy company only to sell it a few years later. In 2010, they bought a different jewelry company that was sold a few years later. I hope you can see the pattern here, that they not only wasted a lot of time and money searching for new directions, they never really found that new direction. Another big reason behind the decline has to be competition, coming from so many different angles. Part of Avon's earliest success was due to the fact that it was difficult for people in remote small towns to physically travel to a place that would offer many perfumes or cosmetics. Remember, we are talking about over a century ago, when Avon representatives would literally use horses to travel to people's homes. Clearly, things are going to change a lot over such a long period of time, but it shows how different the world was when Avon was originally built and how much emerging competition that they have been forced to face over the years. Drugstores like Walgreens or CVS have become popular places to buy cosmetics. Discount stores like Walmart or Target have been a major factor, and some of the more recent competition has come from specialty stores like Ulta and Sephora. Avon was out there selling cosmetics before any of them even existed, and as people have been presented with more choices, the market has become more divided, and Avon has struggled to provide much reason for people to buy their products over everyone else's. This is going to lead me right into the next reason behind their decline: technology. Even as physical retailers became a common way to buy cosmetics, Avon remained the most attractive way to do it from the comfort of your home. The representative would show up at your door and show you all of this wonderful stuff, but I think most of us can agree that the internet has become the new most attractive way to buy cosmetics from your home. So it really seems like that would have been a logical way for Avon to evolve, but they mostly missed that opportunity and continued to rely on their sales representatives far more than their website, and looking back now, it is easy to say that they should have put way more effort toward online sales. Not to mention the lack of social media advertising. Those ads that show up on Instagram or, well, YouTube can play a big part in how a brand is perceived, especially by the younger generations. But for reasons like this, I do not think that Avon has done a great job in attracting the younger people. Also, in the category of technology, it is worth mentioning that Avon spent 4 years and over $100 million building a software system that was supposed to manage orders and track commissions. But in 2013, the representatives had such a negative reaction to it after a test run in Canada that the company gave up on it. My next reason behind the decline of Avon is their focus on international operations. Now, to be clear, Avon has been struggling throughout many areas around the world, but in its home country of the United States is where things have been the most troubling. Their first international expansion was by moving into Canada all the way back in 1914. In the 1950s, when everything was really taking off, they expanded into South America, followed by Europe and then Japan in the 1960s. In 2006, Avon was the first company given a license for direct selling in China after a ban had been lifted, so as their operations have declined in the United States, more effort has been put toward these other countries. By the early 2010s, North American sales were consistently declining, while they had started reporting losses in the region each year. By this time, North America only accounted for less than 15% of Avon's total sales. These struggles in North America were contributing to a major drop in the company's stock price. $100 invested in Avon in 2010 would have dropped to $16 by 2015. So then, the company essentially separated its North American business by splitting into two parts. The new North American company was called New Avon, makes enough sense, while the existing company from around the rest of the world was called Avon Products. Avon Products still owned a small portion of New Avon, but there have since been changes in ownership on both ends. In 2024, Avon Products, the international one, filed for bankruptcy, citing external factors like the pandemic and the war between Russia and Ukraine as contributing factors, but the biggest and most immediate factor is a bunch of talc-related lawsuits. So I'm going to go ahead and put that as the next reason behind the decline. I want to be extra clear that I am not a scientist or a doctor by any means, but to my understanding, talc is mined alongside asbestos, which is a known carcinogen. Therefore, talc can be contaminated by asbestos, so many people using talc have seemingly developed major health issues from it. Unfortunately, many cosmetics companies, including Avon, have used talc in their face powders and other products, and that has led to multiple lawsuits. As of the bankruptcy, Avon said that they were dealing with over 380 of them, which, let's face it, at this point probably costs more money money than the company can afford. Again, you are really going to have to do your own research if you want anything close to a full understanding about all of this, but it has been bad for Avon and the most recent setback in their ongoing decline. For the final reason on my list, I'm just going to directly say what I've been hinting at throughout most of this video, and that is Avon is outdated. I'm talking about the name, the methods, and probably most of the stuff associated with it. This is one of the oldest brands that I have ever covered on this channel. Even in the 1980s, they were struggling to remain relevant while already celebrating their 100th anniversary. Today, I'm guessing that a fair amount of the people watching this have probably never even heard of Avon, and the people who have heard of it probably do not think of it as a cool, trendy brand. It is sad to see such a revolutionary, once revered company in such a diminished condition like this, but at the same time, I would not say it is unexpected. Almost everything that once made Avon unique has become outdated, and of course they could have kept up with technology better, changed their sales tactics, spread into more promising areas, or whatever else, but it is hard. It is hard to remain relevant and stay on top of everyone else while the world around you is constantly changing, and maybe in the case of Avon, it wasn't meant to happen. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about Avon? Is it an old, outdated brand without much uniqueness to offer in today's world, or does it still have potential to make a comeback? And if so, what does it have to do to make that happen? This was actually one of the most upvoted video idea topics on my website, so that tells me that there is still interest in the brand, and I don't know, could be taken as a sign of hope. Also, do you agree with my list of reasons behind its decline? As always, it is not a complete list, but rather the factors that I believe are the most relevant and interesting, so let me know if you think something should be added or subtracted from it. And any other thoughts you have about Avon or anything else in this video, leave them in the comments. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Thank you for watching.